Hundreds of thousands of protesters across the United States held rallies against racism and police violence.
Hands up, don't shoot! 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 Hands up, don't shoot!
We march because when you have 1 out of every 4 African American young men being mistreated at the hands of the police in any given month, we march. We march when young African American men are 21 times more likely to lose their lives at the hands of the police. We march.
In the 3.5 years since I've been at Howard University, we heard about Troy Davis, we heard about Trayvon Martin, we heard about Eric Garner, we heard about Michael Brown. We marched, we protested, we chanted, and we got 0 guilty verdicts. All that says is the system is working for the people that it was always meant to work for.
Protests have been held in a number of cities, including Washington, New York, and Chicago. In Washington, a protest rally was held near the White House. Police in Boston arrested more than 20 protesters as they tried to block a highway. The demonstrators demand systemic change, accountability, and justice in cases of police misconduct. Protesters have vowed to continue the rallies until justice is served. They've also urged Congress to pass legislation that would allow federal prosecutors to take over cases involving police. Tensions between police and black Americans have simmered for decades, but recent decisions by grand juries not to indict officers involved in the deaths of Michael Brown in Missouri and Eric Garner in New York have put the issue of police treatment of minorities back on the national agenda.
Thousands of Americans from various ethnic backgrounds marched in a call to action for Congress to reform police policies that would increase accountability and decrease overaggression, especially in minority neighborhoods. For Anthony Gadsden and his sons, this demonstration was as much necessary as it was personal. He remembers an encounter with police over an improper left turn.
If I didn't have, I guess, calm nerves, easily I could have actually been on the stage talking about the death of my sons or them talking about the death of me. Cameron
Gadsden says he learned a valuable lesson about police that day.
Some they can turn in a quick second. Like, for instance, on that day, it didn't feel right.
This Justice for All rally was led by civil rights activist Reverend Al Sharpton. It comes on the heels of 2 deaths of unarmed black men, Michael Brown and Eric Garner, and the failed indictments of their killers, Officer Darren Wilson and Daniel Pantaleo, respectively, who are both white. Protesters have traveled here from all over the country to be here for this march on Washington called the Justice for All rally, led by the Reverend Al Sharpton. Demonstrators are urging for stronger congressional action and for more police accountability. Families of those affected by police shootings spoke out, including those of Amadou Diallo, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, and others. LeVar Edward Jones survived the police shooting earlier this year. That officer was terminated and is facing charges.
Black lives do matter, and we don't always pay attention to that, particularly in the white community.
James Hodge says lawmakers need to feel increased pressure.
We're not accepting what's going on, and we want change, and we want justice for these individuals that have been killed.
I think all of us that are out here, you, myself, my sons, the conversation has to continue.
Protesters say they'll increase demands on lawmakers for policing reforms. Sharpton says he's prepared to return for another rally if there's no progress. Colin Campbell, Press TV, Washington.